Hello dear friends, it's Fisher here. So today we continue with our beautiful stories, The Power of the Spirit by Alfred Hosp. And then we continue with our story 34 and part 4. So we're having a long session for this story, for story 34. So continue with what Bruno said previously, and then he also said, every human being that is born on earth has taken on, right from their birth, a special task for this life, to accomplish which they have received the gift of a body from God. And when someone is aware of their task in life and honestly makes the effort to give their best, and then they have not lived in vain. Therefore, everyone should listen to the inner voice, and by tuning in correctly, and they should feel what they need to do. But whoever allows themselves to be deceived and led astray by evil inevitably comes off the path to God. And when this happens, it has often been the case that these people, to begin with, had a definite feeling for how they would give shape to their lives, but they unfortunately allowed themselves to be brought away very easily by so-called good friends and any arguments that sound logical from the life task that has been intended for them. They no longer listen to the inner voice, and so they lose their connection with God, which means they ultimately lose connections with their own selves. A short paragraph about Bruno talking about lots of truth. Again, Bruno always talk very simple words, and then the simple words carry so much truth. And then that's what I always believe, the greatest truths are always simple. It never been complicated, and then you don't really need to study mountains of things to be able to understand the great truth. The great truth is like the sun gives the light. So Bruno said that every human being who's born on earth has taken from their birth a special task for this life. So to accomplish and in order to accomplish their task, and they have received a gift, a body from God. So first, everybody is born. Okay, the first point is everyone is born on this earth with a special task to accomplish. So, and often we don't think about that. So we hear, and then how often you hear people, I'm here just enjoy my life. Okay, how do you enjoy your life? And don't forget, you always have a task. Okay, so then how often you hear people say, do whatever I want. I do whatever I want and do whatever I'm pleased with. Okay, and then they forget. Often they forget what their task, what they're here for. Ask yourself a question. What is your purpose on earth? As I always said, what is your purpose on earth? It's not only enjoy the nice food, enjoy the beautiful girlfriend and boyfriends, a wife and husband. Okay, enjoy the beautiful sceneries. It's not all about enjoyment. It's about fulfill your task. Whether your task is to love, or whether your task is to be successful in monetary terms, or whether your task is to looking after your parents, your grandparents. Be responsible. Everybody has a task, and always ask yourself, what is your task? And then, as the law saying, when you ask, and then the answer will be given to you. And then we just need to ask to begin with. I remember when I was a teenager, I used to ask myself, what I'm here for? And then, but the question sounded quite difficult. And then for quite a few years, I couldn't figure it out. And then I gave it up. And later on, I sort of pick up that question again in my young adulthood. So keep asking myself, what I'm here for? Am I just here to be entirely be a nurse? Working full time, retired, get married, have children, and then retire and travel and die. Is it the meaning of my life? So dear friends, always ask yourself questions. Ask yourself questions. And also here, Bruno's basically mentions, whoever make conscious effort to give their best to accomplish their task, that given or intended by God, has not lived in vain. And how often do we live in vain in our life, and basically getting bored and wasting our time, and then doing things which is not important, doing things which does not serve a purpose for uplifting our consciousness. And Bruno's here, and they also mention a very important point, and that everyone should listen to their inner voice. Our feelings, and then these days, and now Bruno also say, always ask like people, how do you feel? And then our feelings not valued these days in lots of countries, in lots of cultures. And then how often we value people's feelings, like what do you feel? And then instead we ask question always, what do you think? How do you think? Thinking is the mind. Okay, the mind cannot reach God, unfortunately. It's the feeling, is the connection. The inner voice is a connection from God. Yes, so I grew up in a family, so in a poor family, the working class in China. So my feeling was never valued. I'm not sure if my parents' feeling was ever valued. They probably didn't know what to do with valuing humans' feelings. In old days, life is tough, and then basically you just struggle to survive. So your feeling is not important because it doesn't serve a purpose for you to survive. So you just need to work hard and toughen up. So that's in the old days. That's how I was growing up. So my dad never expressed much of his feelings, and then my mom always, if she's not happy, and then she'll get angry, and then she'll shout. So I growing up didn't get much my feeling valued. And then these days I'm married to my wife, and she's full of emotions, and I don't I struggle to value her feelings because I don't even know how to value my own feelings properly. But life is a learning, always a learning, so I'm learning too. And then also I'm continuously to evolve. At least I'm actively seeking answers for my life, and then I hope you have done the same, dear friends. So actively seeking answers for your life, and do not be deceived and then by some people's rational argument, and then by some people just logical argument. Okay, and then you always gonna connect yourself to your inner feeling. Pay attention to your inner voice and listen within. Always listen within. That's our connection to God. That's our connection to our higher self. And then the logical sound, the logical and any rations like logics, always based on the perception of this world by us. So basically, if we perceive the sun's warm and then the skies are blue, so it depends on our perception. So if we perceive the sky is it's a different color, it's a gray color or it's a pink color, and then the reality will be different. So the logic will say okay, the sky is is pink because that's how our human eyes perceive it. Of course, we all perceive the sky is blue, so that's our perception. And the logical mind, the left brain will say, okay, so that's that's blue. So same thing in life, and then always our logic or rationales is based on our perception of our reality. So if our perception is wrong, which is our naked eyes are limited to perceive anything non-physical, we can't perceive anything non-physical. So, and how can we be sure? And then we have perceived the 100% truth, the 100% reality of this whole universe. How do we perceive the non-material world, which make up the more than 93% of this universe? It's non-matter. So we always need to listen to our inner feelings, our basically some people will say your gut feelings, and then pay attention to your feelings, and then pay attention to your body, And that's how we connect to God. And that's what Bruno says here. Always maintain connection with God. Listen to your inner voice and listen to your inner feeling. And when you maintain connection with God and you maintain connection with yourself, okay, your higher self. Otherwise, you lose like connection with yourself. So you basically lost in the ocean. So how often you see people lost in the ocean? In the oceans of alcohols and oceans of mental stress, oceans of this and that, whatever this society has given meaning to. Okay, dear friends, so wish you have a good day and God bless.